Unsung Murder Ballads discusses topics of a disturbing nature.
And we're not going to hold back on the graphic details and disturbing content.
So we do not recommend our podcast for children under the age of 13.
And while we respect the victims and their families involved in these tragic cases,
we're also going to be critical of mistakes that are made during the investigations.
And we're going to use dark humor to express ourselves now and then.
So with that said, this podcast may not be for everyone.
And that's okay. We're glad you're here checking us out.
And if you've made it this far, welcome to the Unsung Murder Ballads family. And follow us on Instagram at Unsung Murder Ballads if you want to talk to us.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsung Murder Ballads. This is episode 58. I am Janus Dead.
I'm Jameson Dead.
I'm Joyous Dead.
And I'm Shark Dead.
All right, welcome back. Tonight we have another murder ballad fumbles for everybody.
All right, my favorite. Let's go.
Yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. We have no announcements for future episodes, so we're just going to dive right in.
All right, let's do it.
So I know that right now, presently, none of us are drug traffickers.
How sure?
Pretty sure. Shark Dead's new. They may refer to how he smuggles them in. I don't know. But
Is Fumbles kind of like the Darwin Awards for murderers?
For murderers? Sort of, yes. What it is the fumble refers to the fact that they couldn't actually pull off the crime. So no one's going to die in this episode. So that's the fumble part.
That's good.
And then from there, we just have fun making fun of them. So we're going to have, the first time we did it, we had one long case that was, the main focus. And then we did a couple kind of goofy ones. This one, there's two longer-ish and then some really, really short ones, but they're all funny for the most part. This first one in particular, this is the one that will involve the attempted murder, and there are brutal aspects of this, but it's still, the idiocy of it is hysterical. So
it's quite delicious, I must say.
You got my attention. Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is fun. So just, like I said, don't hold back on these idiots. So I want you to imagine what your life would be like if you were in a situation where getting a big score of drugs would be considered a huge chance for you. Imagine the money that you could make and how it would just improve your life. Now imagine what would happen if you took that risk and got caught in an undercover sting operation by the federal authorities.
Well, that would suck shit.
Oh, God.
Think about this. Having put yourself in that situation, what would you do to escape those charges?
I would say I didn't know. I didn't know I was trafficking drugs.
Okay.
Insanity.
Insanity.
Run.
Okay.
Jameson loves the insanity plea.
Absolutely. He hates it when someone else does it, but he wants it for himself.
Absolutely.
So after being caught by the federal government, Tanika Jenkins decided the best course of action would be for her to fake her own death.
Oh, come on now. Really?
In prison?
Hold on. No, she was out on bail, but we'll get to that.
On bail. Okay. It's not that ridiculous.
I guess. But all she would have to do to, figure this out is murder someone that she could pass off as herself.
Has she ever watched a movie ever in her life?
Clearly not.
Oh, my God.
Jenkins is not as smart as she thinks she is, obviously, or we wouldn't be talking about it.
She's not even good at drug trafficking.
Jenkins was found to have forged transcripts and letters of recommendation in an attempt to get admittance into Yale University.
Damn, okay, she's aspiring.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Very ambitious, yes. She had been sentenced to 5 years probation and ordered to return more than $16,000 in financial aid that she had received.
Oh, so she, got in.
She got some money from them, but she didn't actually get into the classes, it's my understanding.
Interesting, okay.
So a little bit of fraud going on.
Oh, very much so.
A little bit of fraud.
Okay, little.
That's funny. In 2000, Tanika Jenkins and her mother, Tanika Clement, right? Both first names, different last names.
Huh.
Sure. This is when they were arrested for purchasing 22 pounds or 10 kilos of cocaine from an undercover agent in Tampa, Florida.
Damn, okay, repeat offender.
She was released on bail, and there's no information on how much the bail was set to, but considering she had enough money to buy 10 kilos of coke, I'm going to guess someone had the money to bail her out.
At least some investment money.
Right? So while she was out on bail, she came up with what she believed was a foolproof plan. As the trial date approached, Jenkins began contacting her cousin, a man named Kyle Martin. He was a former drug dealer and junkie who had spent time in prison, and Martin had recently moved to Springfield, Ohio, to straighten out his life. Unfortunately, his cousin calls him and fucks it all up for him. He had found a job working construction and told his family that he was actually clean now. But when the two cousins finally did hook up in mid-April of 2000...
Hook up?
Well, all right, maybe I shouldn't have used that term.
Maybe we can use
Yeah, they were Netflixing and chilling, what?
Oh my god.
So sorry, when the two cousins finally met up in mid-April of 2000, Jenkins had a simple request. According to Martin, because he would later tell police, she asked him if he could find her a girl, and at which point he says, quote, "I asked her, what for? And she told me, don't worry about it. Just find somebody decent, about my size, weight, and who smokes dope," unquote.
And who smokes dope?
Smokes dope, yep.
Oh.
The search of Springfield, Ohio, where I'm guessing he worked in, proved fruitless, so Martin did actually offer to help her, and they decided to go to Cleveland.
Did he have like a 420 friendly sign or something like that?
Probably. So
Yeah, I don't know. Is that the kind of dope we're talking about here?
I don't know what kind of dope. I'm going to assume it's worse than just marijuana. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Martin is quoted having said, quote, "I told Tanika I would ride back to Cleveland with her to see if I could find some of the old women I used to kick it with," unquote.
Oh,
yep.
What a dick.
So back in Cleveland, the two found what they were looking for. In the early morning hours of April 19th, Jenkins, Martin, and a friend drove down Euclid Avenue where they spied a petite woman standing in front of a place called United Furniture. This woman was Melissa Latham. Jenkins told Melissa that she was running an insurance scam and offered her a deal. She said she would give Melissa $100 for every medical appointment that she went to claiming to be Tanika Jenkins.
Interesting. Okay, what's this scheme?
Right, so Melissa agreed to it. And of course, obviously, she's not really interested in ripping off insurance companies. She wanted to create dental and medical records under her name, but with Melissa posing as Jenkins. So that later...
Damn.
Yep.
Okay, that's kind of clever.
It is smart. So, obviously later, and for those who didn't figure this out, so that when Melissa's body is found, it's mistaken for Jenkins through dental records.
Right.
Yeah, kind of like Yale worthy.
Sure. Yale, pay attention. These are the people you should be looking into.
Yeah, come on, Yale, listen up. I know you're listening right now.
Yeah, you're thinking outside of the box. Come on.
Right? Yeah, I mean, that's alumni written all over it. What are you waiting
That
for?
is creative problem solving. It is.
So Martin claimed that Jenkins told him, quote, "When the police get here, she will be burnt up and they will only be able to identify her by her dental records," unquote.
Dang.
So the day after they met Melissa, they took her to the dentist. Worried that Melissa's handwriting might betray their scam, Jenkins went with her and filled out the forms for the appointment.
Damn.
They said that Melissa had hurt her wrist, that she was injured and couldn't write anything for herself, which is why Jenkins was there. Now, to top that off, Jenkins and Melissa both wore a pair of black winter gloves so they didn't leave fingerprints.
Okay, well, they're...
But it's a warm and humid April day.
Okay, yeah, so they're looking like fucking weirdos.
Right? Now,
Yeah.
they might as well have just worn a sign that says, suspicious behavior, pay attention to me.
Yeah, literally.
And this was proven to be exactly the case because when Martin, the cousin, went on trial, the receptionist from that dental office had zero trouble recalling what exactly took place in that moment.
Yeah, because she was like, what the hell is going... She probably went home and was like, hey, babe, some bitch was in here wearing gloves.
So after spending much of the rest of that day smoking crack in Jenkins' basement, Melissa went into the bathroom to wash up. When she came out, she was struck on the back of her head.
Ooh.
She would later testify that Jenkins and Martin began stomping on her.
Oh my god.
And while she was on the floor, Martin was holding her down while Jenkins was injecting her with insulin over and over and
Oh
over,
God.
upwards
What
to
the hell?
15 times.
That's
What?
Insulin?
Insulin.
Jeez, yeah, insulin can kill you.
wow.
Absolutely. An insulin overdose will put you in a coma and you're fucking toast, basically.
Okay, so they're trying to kill her with insulin and then burn her up.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. That's just like not the first thing I would think of.
No,
Like
and
while
it's
they're stomping on her.
right, yeah, while they're
Right.
leaving bruises and yeah, exactly. So to stop the assault, Melissa played dead. So Jenkins, yeah, and when Jenkins and Martin finally left the room, she got up and ran out of the building, across the street and into a KFC. Now, the prosecuting attorney, Lynn Lordist, said that she was actually surprised that she didn't die from just the insulin alone.
Yeah, that's impressive that
right.
she was still able to move.
Exactly. I mean, that'll fuck you up. Really will. But it's probably a testament to how many drugs she might have been on.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, here's another weird thing that Jenkins does, because as smart as she might be on one side, she's a complete idiot on the other. When the police arrived at the KFC, Jenkins didn't bother to run. She went across the street, pushed past the cops, and yelled at Melissa, quote, "You fucking bitch, you fucking bitch. That's the bitch that stole my $1,000, unquote.
What?
She's
Girl,
trying
what's
some
your
weird
angle?
cover up.
She's obviously creating some twisted alibi, but that's fucked up.
Weird.
It was so funny that all three of us were like, what the fuck?
So obviously, as they get arrested, she's starting to realize that recruiting her cousin Martin into the process was unwise, because when they
You
finally
don't say.
questioned him about the presence of blood on his hands,
Girl.
he said that his nephew had scratched him. His nephew was 2 years old.
Seriously? Oh
Yeah.
my God! It's
Hmm.
such a weak excuse.
Yep. And it was all downhill from there. Her mother, Tanika Clement, had actually cleaned up the bloody basement,
Jeebus.
and she was eventually arrested. Immediately after his arrest, Martin tried to claim credit for the entire thing, telling police that they needed to let Jenkins go because, quote, "I'm the one responsible."
Dang, why is he
I don't know.
doing that?
I don't know, but he
Are
completely...
you sure he didn't really hook up with his cousin?
Maybe he did. That'd be funny.
Just
But-
saying.
But he quickly rolled over on her, to play with another pun. And 6 months later, at his own trial, he was basically pointing fingers at Jenkins, claiming that he was in fear for his life.
All right.
He said, and I love this, quote, "I said, 'Damn, Tanika, why you do this shit?' And she like, 'Are you going to help me or not?'" Unquote.
Oh my God!
Oh, iconic. Honestly, is there a movie of this one? Because I'd watch it.
I wish there is not. So he then says, of course, that no, he didn't want anything to do with this shit, that she was by herself. And the jury believed him in part, which is
Really?
crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
He was convicted of kidnapping, but acquitted of the attempted murder. And he was only sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Damn. I
Crazy.
feel like he was definitely part of the attempted murder.
I would think he was part of quite a bit more, but they think he was probably in fear for his life, is where I think they bought it.
Load of crap.
But the prosecutor said that they believe that the impression they got from the verdict was that it was a compromise between the jurors, but they did agree that he was clearly a danger to society and sentenced to prison.
All right.
So Jenkins was notorious for being both difficult and unsympathetic in the courtroom, and things weren't looking good for her. So
yeah, can't say I'm surprised.
we're going to talk a little bit about her history in courtrooms here. When
That
Yale
doesn't sound good.
No. When Yale brought charges against her, she missed court dates and even tried to fake her own kidnapping to get out of the punishment.
Girl.
Oh, geez.
What?
She's innovating.
So during that particular trial for the Yale thing, she bit 2 jail guards, which obviously didn't help her cause.
No.
And she only avoided further jail time there because a Connecticut Superior Court judge decided that it would, quote, "simply do more damage to a young woman who needs psychological help," unquote.
You got a point.
True, she's fucked up. Now, however, in the case of the drug charges, a federal judge was far less forgiving than Connecticut was.
Good.
So only a
Yeah.
few days after the assault of Melissa, Jenkins and her mother were convicted for the cocaine distribution. They were each sentenced to 24 years in prison. Now,
Damn. Wow.
yeah, for trying to buy
drug
10
charges are
kilos.
intense.
Yep.
Way more intense than attempted murder, which,
Yes. Well,
don't get me started.
which again, keep the number 24 in mind then when we get to her charges for the attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
So at the
Thank
trial
you.
for her attempted murder, the plot against Melissa Latham, in a joint proceedings, Tanika Clement, her mother, was also tried alongside Jenkins, and she was charged with the obstruction of justice charge. The jury agreed with prosecutors and found her guilty of cleaning up the bloody basement and sentenced her to time served. So basically, they're just kind of throwing it in with the federal charges, and when she gets out, that'll be basically be served concurrently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the mother kind of gets off. Now, jurors deliberated for Tanika Jenkins. They deliberated for 4.5 hours before reaching their verdict. They convicted her on all 6 charges. And the judge said, "You committed, in my view, the worst form of attempted aggravated murder," and she labeled her a narcissistic predator.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and they gave Jenkins a 20-year sentence.
Oh, damn.
So she did hit her with having to serve that consecutively after the 24-year sentence.
The one after the other.
Yes. So basically now she's in jail for 44 years.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. Jenkins did decline to speak at her sentencing, and Melissa Latham made a brief statement basically telling Jenkins that she deserved strict punishment for the assault that she had narrowly escaped. And she said, quote, "No time you guys can give Tanika today can make up for what she did to me," unquote.
This is what happens when you think you're smarter than anybody else.
You gotta wonder what would happen if she had successfully killed her and they had actually identified that woman through her dental records.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's funny. There was a Dateline that I saw maybe 2 years ago, and this guy had a big house and he had a lot of money, but he was going bankrupt. So he hired a kid to come help him work around the house and the garage and everything. And he murdered that kid and left him in the garage and set the house on fire.
Wow.
And try to, do the same thing that this lady did. And he got caught too. I'll have to look up that case and let you guys know about it. But
Right.
it's just, that's really going to work.
Well, I mean, the thing is with DNA testing, if they have reason to actually look into it on you, there's no denying who you are. And if you have a family member they can test your DNA against, they can identify who you, like, it's not hard.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they can check your family and see if it's close to you or not.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next one. And now that Joyous is back with us, because we lost her
Hello.
somewhere in the cloud. She was
Somewhere on the internet. I was in the ether, but I have returned. Do not fret.
okay.
She was just blown away by the stupidity in that first case.
Yes,
I was.
that's
And
it.
y'all know this shit is my favorite.
Yes, which is why when we lost you, I was like, we're going to stop this recording until she's back on.
Because you're like, this bitch is being unnaturally quiet right now.
I was like, something's wrong.
It's like something is unwell. She's having a mentee bee or something.
Yeah,
Something's not going well.
We could never get Joyous to be that quiet, ever.
No.
Not once in my life.
No. And I've known you your entire life.
My entire life.
Yes. All right, so on to the next case. Here we go.
All
So-
right.
2 Welsh tourists landed themselves in court in 2012 after they got drunk and broke into a SeaWorld in Australia.
Girl. What a drunk
No,
activity, though,
really?
I must
Yep.
say.
Yep.
Oh
Reese,
my God, that's great.
Reese Owen Jones, 21, and Kerry Mules, 20, were living in Queensland on a temporary work visa, and they were out drinking heavily at a beach party when they decided it was a good idea to break into SeaWorld nearby and swim with some of the animals.
Oh my goodness.
I think I see where this is going.
After swimming with the dolphins and apparently debating swimming with the sharks, they took a fire extinguisher near the tank and started spraying that around. And then
God.
these drunken idiots grabbed a penguin named Dirk and took it back to their apartment with them, where they subsequently passed out.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
What on earth?
When they,
I want to know what penguin poop looks like.
I'm sure they know.
Imagine waking up and you're spooning a penguin.
Well, then when they discovered Dirk the next morning after they finally woke up, they didn't know what the fuck to do. So they put him in the shower, turned on the water. They tried feeding him bread, right? Before
Come on. These guys are fucking idiots.
they eventually settled on dropping him off at a nearby pier. Yeah, they just let him go in what was basically a canal.
Oh, this poor penguin.
But luckily, they were spotted by locals who contacted the police. So Jones...
Yep, say, this bitch has a penguin. We're in Australia. What's going on?
Right? So Jones and Mules were arrested, basically because not only did they were seen releasing this penguin, but they had posted photos of their adventure from the night before on Facebook.
Oh, you gotta love it.
So dumb.
Yeah, it's idiotic. And that's why this one's so short. So Magistrate Brian Cucks had accepted an appeal not to record their...
I'm sorry, Brian, what?
Cucks. Kucks. Yep.
Like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you take it into the way that they're thinking, maybe he did something to this penguin and now he's cucking them. Anyway.
Like it sounds like a sentence. Brian Cucks. Good for
does.
you, Brian.
Yes. But he decided not to charge them, not to record the conviction, because it would ruin their dreams of moving to Australia permanently.
That is so the opposite of any, like, other place where you can migrate to. They'd be like, you're a slight criminal, get the fuck out.
Exactly. He did, however, fine them 1,000 Australian dollars each. He said, quote, "You could have found yourselves in a morgue if you had gone into the wrong enclosure."
Literally, like, that, you're worried about these people's well-being. It almost seems appalling because it's like our criminal justice system could never.
Right. It's crazy. He continued saying, "Perhaps next time you are at a party, you will consider drinking less vodka." Unquote. So,
Oh my god.
in addition to the fine, the two men were ordered to write an apology letter to SeaWorld and to the Australian public for their actions. Now, Dirk was rescued and returned to SeaWorld unharmed and reunited with his mate, who was named Peaches.
Well, thank goodness. I
Yes.
was worried about Peaches.
Well, yeah, and they did say that it was a good thing they found him because penguins do mate for life, and this would have really kind of fucked up both of their lives, basically.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Not
So,
the penguins.
so that was all right. That's the second one, real short. This one's.
Real quick.
I mean, we have a bunch of short ones, and we have the two longer-ish ones, but the short ones are just either funny or completely fucking like, are you joking me? Because that's this next one.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
pretty
let's rock.
bad. One point on this last one, them posting their pictures on social media. Our neighbor was robbed about 5 years ago, and they had no idea who did it. It was no Ring cameras or anything like that. And the idiots were kids from their neighborhood, and then
Oh,
they
God.
posted all the stuff they stole on social media.
Of course they did.
Look what we got. We got a new Xbox, and with the sticker, from that kid's house.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Right. I could be like someone stealing my autographed Kiss stuff and posting it like I wouldn't know. Idiot.
Right.
Yep.
So before we start the third one, this is an important question before we enter. What would you say is the youngest age someone should not be charged with a crime like murder or attempted murder? Like, would you say a 12-year-old that tried to kill his sister, charged with murder or no?
Yes.
I don't care what the charge is. I care what the consequence is more than anything.
It's attempted murder, but should a 12-year-old be charged with attempted murder?
I say yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, that's fair. A 10-year-old?
Yeah, I'm going to say 12. I'm going to say maybe 10 and under, no.
So you're a no on 10. What about you guys?
oh man, I don't know. I feel like regardless if you somehow attempted murder, there should be some sort of charge that gets you rehabilitated.
A 10-year-old? What about...
If you are 10 and you attempted a murder,
Okay.
there is something seriously fucking
Okay.
wrong.
What about a 6-year-old?
Man.
No.
Okay. With
My line is gonna draw somewhere near there, where it's like, but at that point, could you really call it attempted murder, or like, would it be manslaughter? Because like, how
okay.
could a child even do that?
Okay. But would you really charge a 6-year-old with manslaughter?
Man,
I know,
don't
it's crazy.
know.
And here's
We're
why.
getting into a hard part here.
And here's why I asked that question. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
In 2014, Musa Khan was 9 months old when he and his entire family were charged with attempted murder.
What?
Hey, what?
9 months old. He was.
does
What is he, an
entire-
accessory?
Well, we'll get there.
Literally, he's in
Oh
the
my
baby
goodness.
carriage.
He was.
Yeah.
He was photographed crying as his grandfather was holding him up so he could be fingerprinted.
What?
Do babies even have
What?
fingerprints?
Yeah,
Dude, what?
That's fucked.
Where is this? Where is this?
this is in Pakistan. He was with his family during a protest in a Lahore slum that turned violent. Police say the boy, who was 7 months at the time, threw stones at them.
Okay.
Yeah. Residents of the area, which is, like I said, generally considered to be a slum, threw stones at gas company workers who tried to show up and disconnect their utilities for failure to pay their bills. This led police to be called, and more stones were thrown. So the police decided to arrest and charge the entire family with attempted murder, including Musa. Yeah.
That's
just
fucking absurd.
Bonkers.
Also,
Wait
like,
a
they're
minute.
just
His
throwing
parents
rocks.
probably just said throw a rock or something, or just
I
put
don't
a rock
even-
in his hands.
A 9-month-old, I don't even think he would understand you telling him to do that.
No.
A 9-month-old,
Oh, yeah.
like, can you even grip? Can you even throw a rock?
So the absurdity of this case became apparent when the screaming child was produced in court and had to be comforted with a bottle of milk.
It's
Did he throw the
horrible,
milk
but
at the
what an
judge?
image.
So his grandfather, Muhammad Yassin, said to the news outside the courthouse, quote, "He doesn't even know how to pick up his milk bottle properly. How can he throw a stone at police?" Question, unquote.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's so stupid.
That's like
Oh my!
Also, like, can we talk about how throwing a rock attempted murder? Can we chill out a little bit?
Well, I mean, I guess being stoned in a country like Pakistan, I think that's a common thing. Like that could be a punishment, like where you're scheduled for the death penalty, and that could be one of the ways you're sentenced to death. So there is a precedent there,
The cops being bitches to me. What's a couple rocks?
right? And especially at the time a 7-month-old. So
Ridiculous.
and it should be noted that this is the same Pakistani legal system that failed to catch and prosecute people like Osama bin Laden, and yet here they are arresting an infant for trying to stone police officers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
this feels
okay.
like more like class warfare than anything.
Well, and that was an awesome segue because his grandfather did offer one possible explanation. He basically said that he believes the police fabricated the charges because they were colluding with a rival party who wanted to see his family evicted from their land.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's like exactly what this is. And it was a protest, like they were trying to.
They were trying to keep
Yeah.
the gas company from turning off the heat in their homes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not like
Yeah. So
it's purely And then the police show up because what police do, they protect capital.
exactly. They follow them and the government's rule. Yeah.
Can you spell
Yeah.
corruption?
Literally.
The little kid can't.
He can kill somebody though.
Yeah, with a rock that will fit in his tiny little hand. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the baby from The Incredibles. The Incredibles. What is it, like Jack Jack?
Yeah, right. That's awesome. So
Oh yeah, and they whip the top of the bottle, the rubber part, and he swings it around and throws it at people.
wasn't that Diaper Man in the Mighty Heroes back in the day?
Yeah, yes.
Right. I know. I just made the two of us really look really old. But anyway, the charges against Musa were eventually suspended, and under Pakistani law now, no child under 7 can be charged with a crime.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
all
seems reasonable.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, okay, we're in the venturing towards reasonability now.
Right, exactly. That's why I had to ask you guys where the line was. So
Yeah, we have to thank that baby for bringing awareness.
Shout out, baby!
Oh, that's
Ooh.
fantastic. Okay, so the next one. Tyrion Ponce, 19, wearing a black hooded sweatshirt and a dark scarf concealing his face, decided to rob a Chicago hot dog shop with a small caliber pistol.
I bet you the hot dog shop's got a ton of cash on hand.
This already doesn't sound good.
You know, it's funny. I actually play poker with a guy who owns a hot dog shop.
Oh,
He has so much cash because everyone's paying like $3, $5,
oh yeah.
$4 for those hot dogs.
That's, I can see that being a good way for, it's like a good cash.
Okay,
Heavy.
money laundering.
I know, right?
Big time.
Heisenberg should have went with a hot dog stand instead of a car wash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ponce entered the lobby of the restaurant, brandishing his firearm, and demanded money from the cash register. Two men that were working there, aged 39 and 45, basically complied. They were like, okay. But due to Ponce's impatience, he dropped the bills all over the floor and had to scramble to pick them up.
Dumbass.
Fucking embarrassing.
The whole time he's keeping his gun generally trained on the two men. He then robbed the 39-year-old of his cell phone and his wallet before running out of the building. Now, all of this is caught on video.
Okay, naturally.
Then, as he's leaving the shop, he sticks the gun into the waistband of his pants and shoots himself in the dick and the leg.
No. Oh, man.
That's fucking hilarious.
It had to be a hot dog shop.
Right? There is some poetic justice in the universe, yes.
That is fucking great.
Oh, my God.
So the two employees of the hot dog stand call 911 and report that their restaurant has been robbed. Now, Ponce, to his credit, kept running and was seen...
Seriously?
Yeah, and he was seen stopping at a vacant car wash where he threw something over a fence. He then ran even further from the hot dog shop, stopped, and called 911 himself, claiming someone had just shot him.
Oh my god.
Nice try.
Right?
Man, what a Ponzi scheme, am I right?
That's fantastic. Oh, man.
I've been sitting on that for a minute, waiting for the right time.
That was a good one. So Ponce was hospitalized at the Advocate Christ Medical Center, and because of his injury, he could not appear in court for a couple days. When he finally was able to, Judge Stephanie Miller ordered him to be held without bail. Ponce faced 2 counts of armed robbery with a firearm, and then it was 2 counts, one for each employee. The 39-year-old employee did find his wallet near where Ponce had shot himself.
Oh, my goodness.
LOL.
Now, strangely, I could find no information as to how this court thing played out. However, last year, Ponce and 2 of his family members were arrested and charged for shooting somebody else.
Come on.
No joke. And unfortunately, that's it. There's no further information on what happened with that either.
Wow.
Damn, Ponce and his life of crime and shooting himself in the dick.
That's so fucking funny. I laughed so hard.
Wow.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Like, damn. How
That kinda
specifically
reminds
do you
me
have
of
to be
the,
aiming to hit right there?
I mean, he
Yeah,
wasn't
wait a
aiming.
minute. That kind of reminds me of the video, Janus, you made of the Dead's. I think it's called
Vending machine gun. Yeah.
Yeah, with all the people just shooting themselves in the ass and
With guns. Yeah.
blowing
Like
off
all the
rockets and
Yeah, I specifically did that because it's called vending machine gun, and I was like, this would go great with gun fail videos, and it worked out perfectly. So yeah, if anyone wants to see it, do a Google search for vending machine gun, the Dead's gun fails. I think will bring it up. But yeah, it's funny. It's good stuff.
yeah, it's a great video.
All right, so on to the next one. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, this case started in 2013. Melissa Hadley, she was an ambitious, bright-eyed go-getter, and she met a man by the name of Ian Diaz. Ian Diaz was a U.S. Marshal. The two hit it off, and they started dating. While on a trip to New York in December of 2014, for Michelle's 28th birthday, Ian asked her to marry him. And she said yes.
Holy, wow.
Yeah, very quick. Very quick. Not that I'm anyone to talk about that.
Yeah, you're really not.
No, but my circumstances were different.
It's totally different when you do it. When you do it, it's totally different.
Yeah, exactly. While the couple planned their marriage, they also decided that they would become homeowners. And they found the perfect starter home at a new condominium in Anaheim, California.
First of all, you goddamn bitches, how do you have enough money to save for both a new house and a wedding?
Right?
I hate you. Get out of here, bitches.
So 2 months after purchasing their condo, Michelle and Ian broke up.
Classic.
Yep.
Tale as old as time.
The breakup was messy, and co-owning this condo together only made matters worse. So they ended up in this kind of legal battle over the property, and then eventually started to dissolve because in November of that year, it was agreed that Ian would stay at the condo. But he had 6 months to obtain his own mortgage, as the existing mortgage had both their names on it. So
Okay.
That makes sense.
Right. So at this point, Michelle's ties to Ian were minimal and basically mapped out according to this mortgage agreement. So she kind of thought, this is it. I get to move on with my life.
Yeah, reasonable.
That's how they were both probably thinking, really.
Yeah.
Right.
So in February of 2016, Ian Diaz married another woman named Angela Connell.
Honey.
They married 1 month after they met online.
People are fucking
What?
nuts.
Right? So Angela moves into the condo with Ian.
Probably doesn't even know if he snores or not.
Right? Yeah.
Literally.
It's pretty funny, though. Now,
He's
in
never been with him while he's constipated. You need to know
Oh,
these
God.
things.
yeah, you need to know what someone is like living together. They really, really do.
Yeah, you need that trial period.
So that's why, anyone who's like, oh, I'm going to wait until after marriage, it's not a good idea. It only creates more problems. Now, you can work hard at it, and maybe it'll work out. But, yeah. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I mean, waiting till marriage, what the real problem is, you don't find out if the man has sleep apnea or not. Honestly, that's at least 60% of adult men.
That's
the important information.
This is the second episode you've brought that up. It's clearly a soft spot for you.
It was so funny. I was talking about it yesterday. That's why I'm thinking about it.
That's so funny.
All men have sleep apnea. This is my hot take.
So in May of 2016, Angela Connell, now Angela Diaz, announced that she was pregnant and expecting twins.
Dang.
Within 2 months of this announcement, on June 1st of 2016, a police report was filed with the Anaheim Police Department. The report stated that Michelle Hadley had sent Angela Diaz threatening emails. Throughout June of 2016, Diaz furnished the police department with email after email, all from Michelle.
Damn. What is this bitch fucking... What's her problem?
The content of these emails were graphic, and they made violent threats against Angela's well-being. On top of that, Angela claimed that Michelle had impersonated her on Craigslist and did so while posting ads that Angela was asking to be visited by men at her condo to indulge her in a rape fantasy.
I'm sorry, what?
Holy fucking shit, that's so awful.
That's no.
Yeah, just imagine that for a second. Someone
No,
else.
Oh.
Nope.
Someone else.
I'm kind of wondering who's writing these emails and who's posting this shit.
Yeah, just imagine someone else is basically saying, this is where I live. This is what I look like. I have a rape fantasy. Show up and rape me.
Horrifying.
Oh my God, that's no.
Absolutely just... Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about getting swatted, but I don't even know what you would call this.
That's the opposite of that. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So when police showed up at Diaz's home on June 13th, 2016, Ian Diaz told police officers that Michelle Hadley, quote, needs to be in fucking cuffs and a padded room. Ian said that he investigated real threats made by federal judges to prosecutors in his role as a U.S. Marshal, but that he had, quote, never seen anything like this.
Damn, that says a lot.
He continued saying, quote, "At what point does this girl get arrested for sending this shit and hiring guys off Craigslist to rape Angela?" Unquote.
He's so real for
Wow.
that.
So on June 24th, 2016, after multiple reports made by Angela in which she claimed men arrived at her home to rape her, Michelle Hadley was arrested.
Jesus Christ.
The very next day, Michelle Hadley was released on bail.
Jesus.
And at that point, Angela stated that Michelle was sending her even more threatening emails. On June 13th, 2016, police responded to a 911 call of a 17-year-old male attempting to respond to the rape fantasy Craigslist ad.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So this is wrong on so many levels.
So many levels. Michelle Hadley was arrested the next day and charged with stalking, attempted rape, and parole violation. This time her bail was set at $1 million, and
Damn, okay.
she now faced life in prison.
Wow.
On August 19th, 2016, Michelle Hadley's father, unsatisfied with the lawyer that she had previously hired, searched online for a lawyer that could help clear her name and get her released. He found a website and recognized a lawyer named Michael Gusti. He basically saw his extensive track record of success and contacted his offices, and he agreed to take on the case.
Damn.
Over the next few months, evidence was uncovered showing that the threatening emails Michelle had supposedly been sending originated from the condo where Ian and Angela were residing.
Uh-huh.
What?
Uh-huh. Did I
Yep.
say it or what?
You called it.
Oh,
In
wow.
addition to that, some of the threatening emails even originated from Angela's father's home in Arizona.
Ew.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Oh god.
The
Evidence
twist.
also surfaced that Angela Diaz had a checkered past that apparently involved check forgery, impersonating an attorney, forging doctor's notes, and faking her pregnancy as well as cervical cancer.
What?
Jeez.
Yeah,
Holy fucking shit.
How do you meet people like that?
I know. Do you want to meet someone? I can probably hook you up.
Oh.
I mean, Tanika Jenkins might still be. Anyway, on October 4th, 2016, attorney Michael Gusti spent the entire day in jail with Michelle. He presented evidence to members of the Orange County District Attorney's Office, investigators, and the two arresting officers. 3 days later, after presenting the overwhelming evidence that she was in fact as innocent as she claimed to be, Michelle Hadley was released from jail after spending nearly 3 months incarcerated.
That's so fucked up.
It's the whole thing is crazy. But why? But initially, it's hard to imagine that they're making that up.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean,
it's the what? Wow.
right?
The truth is stranger than fiction. Truly.
Well, the sad part is it's cases like this that make it so, like, if someone said to you, someone calls the police and said, a stranger just showed up and raped me, claiming he saw an ad on Craigslist, that's hard to believe in
You
and
don't
of
doubt
itself.
someone, no,
Yeah.
because
It's
it takes
crazy.
the most insane fucking psychopath to do that.
Right. And this was,
Yeah, who thinks of that?
it's crazy. So, sadly, even though Michelle had been released from jail, her life, her reputation, and her name were forever tarnished.
Unfortunately,
poor thing.
yeah.
In December of 2016, her attorney, Michael Gusti, served written notice to the city of Anaheim that he was filing a lawsuit against the city on behalf of his client. Less than 3 weeks later, the Orange County DA's office held a press conference where it announced multiple felony charges now being filed against Angela Diaz and the complete exoneration of Michelle Hadley.
Mm-hmm.
The DA referred
Wow.
to the case as diabolical, while Michelle called it, quote, the most traumatic experience of her life, unquote, which makes sense.
It does make sense.
If
Yeah,
not,
what an awful
It
thing
is
to go
diabolical.
yeah, the whole thing's fucked up. So the Orange County District Attorney's Office dropped the charges against her officially on January 9th, 2017, the same day they charged Angela Diaz with her crimes. She was charged with 10 felony accounts.
Holy shit.
Damn. Yeah, because like now it's like the Uno reverse of all of those.
Yep. Now, however,
Attempted rape of yourself? Question mark? Like
Well,
what?
Did men really show up is the first question.
That's true.
You know, they're claiming a 17-year-old kid showed up, but there's no arrest made of a 17-year-old kid. So it's weird. Now, she pled guilty and was sentenced to, you ready for this?
No.
5 years in prison.
What?
What?
5 years.
Oh my God, no.
Yep.
Well, I guess like kind of like what do you get charged with? Because like technically you were like you no longer have an attempted rape charge. You no longer have like.
Right. Well, the kicker here is I'm going to discuss Ian Diaz's next thing. I'm going to discuss him next. And that's where you're going to hear what the actual charges were. I kind of glossed over it with her because he's going to get it.
Got you.
Yeah. So now Angela and Ian did divorce. Surprise, surprise. And Ian Diaz was found guilty of perjury, conspiracy to commit cyberstalking, and obstruction of a federal matter. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So those are the charges that's all about. Exactly.
So who are they? Are they saying that he?
Oh, it's both of them.
Shit?
Oh, it's both of them.
Oh, both of them are doing this because they wanted to put his ex-wife in prison. What the fuck?
It's so fucked up. Yeah.
So weird and fucked up.
So Hadley filed a federal civil lawsuit against the couple in 2018, also naming the city of Anaheim and members of the police department, accusing them of false imprisonment, false arrest, civil rights violations, assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, negligence, and malicious prosecution.
Lay him down, girl.
Yeah, her lawyer was fucking phenomenal.
Thank God. And she deserves the best lawyer.
Wow. Hey guys, hold on a sec. I have to ask my wife what we want to do tonight. Hey, do you want to like cyber stalk my ex and fuck with her all night long, or would you rather watch a movie?
You know what? That first option sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, you know what, babe? Sign me right up.
In her
let's make some fake Craigslist post and shit.
Yeah, I can't. That one blows my mind. But
wow.
Because then they actually like, if they posted that on Craigslist, like that actually could have brought dangerous people to their home.
Correct.
Like,
yes. Yeah. It's fucking nuts.
I'm baffled. That's what I got for you today. I'm fucking baffled.
So Michelle's lawsuit stated, quote, "At its heart, this is a case about the blue wall of silence. Law enforcement officers and officials enabling fellow officers to violate civilians' rights," unquote.
Oh,
yeah.
Sounds like there's more to this story.
The Anaheim Police Department and its officers abdicated their duties to adhere to investigative norms, instead conspiring to do the bidding of a corrupt federal marshal. They appear to have willingly...
Oh, true.
Yeah. They appear to have willingly become Ian Diaz's weapon in his torturous campaign to ruin the life of his ex-girlfriend, unquote. Fucking
Fucked
crazy.
up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that lawsuit was settled in April of 2021 for an undisclosed amount of money. So we don't know how much she made.
I like to hear the disclosed amount of money.
But she has since used that money to open up her own retail business and has helped raise money for domestic violence shelters.
Good
Quote,
for her.
Yeah. She said, quote, "I hope my story becomes a beacon of hope for other domestic violence survivors. I want them to know they're not alone," unquote. Yeah.
Go off, queen.
That one's fucking nuts, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah, that's really nuts.
Not expecting those twists.
No, not at all. And we have one more super short one, and then we'll wrap this up. This one I saw, and I was like, I have to do this. So this one takes place in Florida. Surprise, surprise.
Florida man.
Oh, you got to it before I did. I was going to say it.
This is 3 Florida men. Barely.
3 Florida men. Let's go. Best kind.
Waldo Sorora.
No, his name's not Waldo.
Is it really?
19. Matrix.
We know where he is.
Yeah, Matrix Andaluz, 18. And Jose David Diaz Marrero, 19, were all arrested on charges of burglary and grand theft.
What's grand theft?
Well, we'll get to the grand theft part in a moment because it's.
Okay.
Did they steal a penguin?
No, it's amazing. Okay, they, along with 2 juveniles who were not named, broke into a Florida home and stole 3 containers of what they thought and hoped might be cocaine.
Oh my goodness! It's got to be someone's baking flour.
They also took some electronic equipment and jewelry. After leaving the home, they snorted the cocaine, but quickly realized that that's not what the powder was. It's not the drug they were hoping for.
Nope.
What they had just snorted was the cremated remains
Oh,
of the
God.
homeowner's father and her 2 dogs.
Oh.
That's awful.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yep. Once they realized their mistake, the suspects actually discussed
I can't
returning
even speak.
the remaining.
Wow, you're like dumbfounded.
They did discuss returning the remaining ashes, but instead decided to throw them in a lake because they thought their fingerprints might be on the urns. Now, police, to their credit, did attempt to recover the ashes, but obviously that didn't happen. So, and they were jailed for their burglary charge and other charges, but that's the whole thing. It's super short.
Oh, fucking what? The cremains? Are you for real?
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
no,
we were
that's
speechless.
so good though. I had to include it because it was so short. It's like,
No, that's so funny.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the crazy part, that's not the only time it's happened.
what?
Yeah, that's happened numerous times across the country. It's nuts. So,
People just see like a fancy looking urn and say, I'm going to snort that shit.
yeah, whatever that is. Look at that. It looks like Coke.
They're not giving it a little gum test first either. What are these bitches doing?
Well, they were kids, 19, 18, you know.
You know what? They're gonna accidentally snort some meth if they continue like that.
That's fun.
Yeah, it'll be in big trouble.
But yeah, so that's our second Fumbles episode. Thank you everyone for joining us. Once again,
That was fun.
yeah, it was a good time. I love these. I know Joyous loves them. It's like her
I
favorite.
love it.
Yeah, and it's like
There was a lot of absurd ones tonight, man.
yeah, and it's a nice break from the brutal cases, you know? Like, I mean, there's still some graphic shit, but it's not as bad as, you know, what we normally
Yeah.
cover. Certainly not as bad as what we're doing next week. So everyone should be joining us for our second For Joyous's Information case.
Oh, yes.
Woohoo.
Yes, and next week is our 1-year anniversary. So
Woo!
Unsung Murder Ballads has been around for a year, which is crazy to me. But thank you
Man,
all
this
for
has
being
been
here.
Wow.
a hell of a ride, let me tell you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you soon. I am Janus Dead,
Jameson dead.
I'm Joyous Dead.
And I'm Shark Dead.
and we'll see you next week.
Bye.